Hey guys, welcome back to Reignited, and it is time for our coverage of Rocky Mountain Race Week here. Had an absolutely fantastic time. What an incredible event this is. Now, if you don't know anything about Rocky Mountain Race Week, it is basically an adaptation of Hot Rods Drag Week that started quite a few years ago now. It's called a drag and drive event. Basically, it takes course over 7 days or 1 week's period of time, and you have to drive your race vehicle between all these different racetracks. There's 5 different racetracks that we end up going to, and you have to drive your race vehicle between all those tracks, and you are not able to use a trailer of any kind. You have to carry all your tools, all your equipment with you, and then what you do is you race at each of those drag strips and you average all of your ETs or your laps times over the course of that week, and at the end of the week, depending upon what class you're in, that best average then will win. So I hope you guys enjoy day 1 of Rocky Mountain Race Week. So our first day here in Great Bend, Kansas, the first thing we got to do is go through tech inspection. Now they have the Rocky Mountain Race Week tech inspection, which is basically they're checking to make sure that your vehicle is roadworthy. It has all the lights and everything that it needs. And one of the final checks on there is the horn. And as you can tell, my horn was being a little bit shy. Now it worked just fine when it was here in the shop, but it is old and it was having a little bit of trouble in the heat. But I will say in my defense that it did actually work just fine the entire rest of the week, because I was constantly using it to check, and if a race weeker was parked on the side of the road, I'd honk so that they'd give me a thumbs up so I could move on. So the horn does work on the truck. It was fine, but just in that moment, it didn't want to work. So you finish with Rocky Mountain Race Week tech inspection and you move on to the NHRA tech inspection, which is more like track safety kind of stuff. Now what was really nice about that is because I was working in a slower class, it's not the most rigid tech inspection you've ever seen in your life. In fact, they were very cool about the whole deal. And in fact, they mentioned it a little bit later on in the driver's meeting. They're basically like, if you'll notice, tech inspection was not that bad here, and that's because we require you guys to handle your business, essentially. Like, make sure you know the deal, you know what you're supposed to be doing, just make sure it's actually done so that we can get these cars through the tech, because it was crazy out there, guys. We had, so the event calls for 250 people. That's the max cars that they allow. However, on top of that, you of course have the waiting list, and you have a lot of people who show up who are just on the waiting list, and they think that maybe they'll let us in no matter what because we traveled a long way. And that's very much true. Matt Frost, the originator of the event, he really tries his best to get people in if they can, and day 1 was kind of nuts. We ended up with, I say 321 in the video. I think they did a final count later on. There's 307.
First off, who's stoked, man?
Whoa!
This thing just gets cooler and cooler as we go. Who's new? Man! Going the way that it has just blows me away. I want to thank all of you guys for everything that you guys do to come here and support this. It's awesome. So thank you. Something that's really cool is this new track right here. We are the first ones to ever run down this track. These guys busted their butts to make sure they were not going to let us not be able to be here. So they did everything they could. They're not all sitting over here, and I don't know what Hank is. Some of these guys are out and around, but we owe these guys a huge amount of thanks. They're volunteer, and they, instead of letting their track go and not do anything with it, they push to have one of the best facilities that there is in the country when we're losing tracks right now. So we owe these guys a huge thank you for what they've done and the work that they've put in. There's Hank right there.
So Sky, how are you feeling about it right now?
Extraordinarily nervous.
Why?
Because you know you've done the best you can, but you don't know what it's gonna do until you actually hit the gas.
I think you're gonna do great.
That's what I hope for. I want to do great.
I mean, you first started this truck, and it sounds like a perfect vehicle. Like, it sounds great.
It sounds the part. I don't know if it's gonna move the part, but it sounds pretty good.
Well, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Oh, I'm worried about, I don't want to oil down the track. That's my big thing. If I oil down the track, that would be a problem for everyone. And everyone would hate me because then it would take forever to clean everything up. So that's why I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but that stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
And they're happy you came, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
So that's the worst thing that can happen?
We're going to take it easy out of the hole on this thing. We're going to go nice and easy. A brand new clutch. I have not had any real time to break this clutch in at all, but I'm just gonna ease it out of the hole, and we'll see what it runs out of the box, and then we'll see if we need to change classes or anything. But right now, if I make it down to the end of the track and the truck is still running in one piece, perfect. Perfect.
Excellent. Yeah. That sounds good to me too.
A couple of quick things I want to mention too about my truck. Obviously, I am running street tires here. I did not bring any sort of drag radials. What that means is that I have to run out of the groove. And so that was something I knew going in. That was not really that big of a deal. I knew that that was something I put myself into by running street tires, because street tires will tear up the rubber that's on the line and won't allow the really fast cars to actually get a good pass. So I have to run out of the groove. Not really that big of a deal. One thing that you experienced drag racers might notice is that for pretty much the whole first 5 days of this event, I am going around the water box. I am not doing a burnout with the truck. And my thought process behind that was, okay, I know that street tires just get greasy when you do a burnout with them. They don't really get sticky, so there's no point in doing a burnout. I'm just gonna go around the water box and take off from there. What I did not realize until day 5 of the event essentially was you still want to do a small burnout. That way you can clean off the dirt and debris from your tires that's on there and leave you with a good tire surface. Why did I not think of that? That's just the way it is. I have not drag raced in 17 years. So forgive me for that. You won't see me doing a burnout until like day 5 or day 6 of this whole thing. But anyway, that probably definitely would have helped out with getting some bit more consistent times and not spinning so much off the line. But I did figure that out down the road. So that's just a couple of things about the truck. Another thing, it is only a 13-second truck, which doesn't really sound that fast. And when you look at it from the outside, you're like, man, that seems really slow. But inside the truck, I gotta tell you, it actually felt pretty quick. And while there's a lot of like factory stock cars that are 13-second cars right out of the gate, for an old square body, man, I was having fun and it felt really quick in there. To me, it felt fast. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm like, woo, that was fast. You know, I mean, it still felt fast to me. I don't know, a 13-second truck isn't really slow. I still think it's a pretty quick truck. You're still going through the lights at over 100 miles an hour. So anyway, forgive me all of that, you guys who are experienced drag racers, but I was just there for the experience and it was a phenomenal experience.
Non-stop action. Oh, it's great. It's always good. Also, I just got some Sugar Mama bakeries. I got some goodies up in the tower, and I mean, that's just amazing. And they got a little a tent set up down there. They're on the next to the portable hoist, I believe, and kind of just around a little ways. But go check it out. They got some good bakery stuff out there, and you know, we kind of let everyone sort of do their thing around here, and you know, we like having everyone around, so.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, that's interesting. I'm in the 14.0 class and I ran a 1397. Wow, at 101. Kind of sad that's my first 13-second quarter mile, so that's something.
So, how did it go?
A little adrenaline going there, definitely shaking. That was really, really fun. It's been way too long since I've done that. The truck did great. I was really surprised, and we ran it out the backside, so I had a really good time.
What was your time?
It was a 1397, so I ran 2500s too fast for my class.
You're too fast.
Yeah, too fast by 2500s. So I either try to go faster or I try to go a little bit slower. I want to try to do one more where I go faster, and if I'm only getting like a 13.6 or something, then I'll try to slow it down and go with a little slower. So
all right. How do you feel?
Amazing. It didn't break. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to go down at least once without it breaking. So
did it feel like you're gonna get another run?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. It was fun. Like the car next to me ran at 1278, but
I don't know if we can hear you right now.
Yeah.
So what?
So the car next to me was a red Chevelle. It ran at 1278, but because he left a full second after I did, we crossed the line at almost the exact same time. It actually made it a lot more fun because I could kind of feel him coming around me there at the end. So that was really a good time.
Oh, so they don't start the clock till you go across the line?
Exactly. As soon as you break the beam, that's when the timing starts.
Oh, okay. So like
you can sit there as long as you want at the light, so the green doesn't really matter.
Drag racing is super strange to me. It's super strange.
Yeah.
It's like you got the wagons out there with the automatics and people just put their foot to the floor.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it's different when you're in competition drag racing because then your reaction time actually matters. Drag week's a bit of a different animal. All that matters is your ET at the end of the day. You're just trying to average your best ET. So reaction time matters not at all at race week unless you're doing a little grudge match with somebody else.
Oh, well, there you go. A little less stress.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add about your first run?
It was all over the place. I mean, my shift points were who knows where, somewhere in the orange, around 62 to 6400. I don't really know, but at the time I was like, you get into it and you're just like, go full drag, you know, and you're just like, and then you're like, no, don't kill it. So I don't know, you have a little bit of that worrying. So hopefully next time around I'll calm down a little bit, be a little smoother with it, but we'll see what kind of time. Getting a 1397, I think getting a 13.0 might be a little bit difficult, especially to repeat. So we'll do another run, see how close we get. If we're still going way too slow, then we'll slow it down even more and go a 14.0, hopefully.
All right.
If they think it's cool, then we think it's cool.
So it was a long wait. I mean, hours and hours. So we get to take our second run.
Yeah, then he said this is it. Second run is all we get. So right now we kind of have to make a decision. I ran a 1397 on that first pass, so I can slow down a little bit and still be in the 14.0 class, or I can just rip on the thing and try to run closer to a 13.0, which I don't know if that's possible, but even like a 13.6 or something would be fun. So that's kind of the decision. Am I trying to be competitive, or am I just trying to have fun? And for me, I think I'm just trying to have fun. So I might just rip on the thing and see if we can't do a better time than we did last time.
So what do you guys think? What should he do?
Pickup at the stripe goes 1378. Right lane 1482. Finish their burnouts and get those cars staged. Well, car and truck. Pickup at the stripe goes 1378. Right lane 1482.
There we are, guys. That is the end of the first day of Rocky Mountain Race Week. Very excited with how the day turned out. I got 2 runs in. That's basically all we could do with 321 cars. They were trying to run everyone as fast as they could. A lot of oil downs to the track, so really difficult conditions for pretty much everyone. I had that 1397 on the very first run, so I could have just slowed down just a little bit, tried to stay in that 14.0 class, but I wanted to do full send on this thing, see where I could go with it. I got a 1.74 60 foot on the second run. Very, very happy with that for street tires. Still ended up running a 1378, so kind of not a great situation. So I did have to switch down to the 13.0 class, and as you can imagine, a 1378, not a great option in there. But the truth of the matter is that pretty much everyone's in that same scenario, because again, everyone only got 2 runs, so it's hard to get something right. In fact, I'm not sure how the day is actually going to finish out, but I know when I left the track, I was faster than Cletus McFarlane. All right, you guys, we will see you guys for day 2 of Rocky Mountain Race Week.